Alright, so for the past few weeks, I've been alluding to a big something. I've been calling it administrative struggles, I've been calling it the new course, and negotiations and all of this. Today, I'm committing to telling you all about what's been going on lately. I think I'll start by just saying that it's a hard story to tell, given my need to simultaneously be real with you and professionally tactful. There's emotions wrapped up in this, but at the same time, it's just work. And so those are hard things to balance, and I'm still figuring that out. Easiest place to start is with the end. On Friday, I had to fire 44 people. For the last year, I've been teaching an experimental new course. And one of the big things that it was trying to do was break conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom says the bigger a class is, the worse it is for the student. But there are lots of things that would be terrible if they were small and only work well when they're big. Two examples that jump to my mind right now are sporting events and social networks. Imagine going to a football game or being on any social media network and there only being a dozen people there. The experience would be pretty lame. I think there's two big reasons for this. Number one is that when we're in a huge crowd with a united purpose, we feel like we're part of something bigger. There's a cause going on. And number two, if you can democratize the experience and give everybody an equal chance to express their thought, the more people you put in a room, the number of ideas that they can engage with or produce or come up with, explore, well, it increases exponentially. And we've seen that happen time and time again. And so for the last year, we've been building a class around that idea. And the way that we made it work was by taking a 250 person class and creating an experience where nobody felt like a number. Short and simple, how did we do that? An army of undergraduate teaching assistants. The team started with a small group of people that I hand selected, people that I had worked with on other things, people who had really interesting ideas on how we might implement this, and most importantly, people who believed that we could do something big so strongly that they'd be willing to protect it. And they helped me recruit the rest of the team so that everybody was hand-chosen to be true believers. And over the course of the last year, that team grew from 4 to 6 to 25 to 44. And every one of them had a very specific role and made very specific contributions. And we tested that out. And the results were incredible in my mind. The TA team did far more than just teach a class or just support students with the course content. They really formed mentorship groups. They welcomed new students to campus and took them on a tour, showed them the best places to eat and study and hang out. They showed them how to deal with professors sending emails and how to visit office hours for the first time, and just really help them get off on the right foot in college. That's a lot of responsibility to put on an undergrad TA, which is why we were so careful in picking such incredible people. But beyond that, they also formed their own support network. They created an entire organization with different roles and responsibilities, and just made this really interesting thing that at the end of the day provided an individualized experience to 250 people in one big class. And along the way, we all got really close. It's a tight-knit group, and we really, care deeply about each other and supporting each other and taking care of each other. So here at the end of the first year of teaching the class that way, I had to meet with the administrators for the college and kind of after action it, post-process. How did it go? What did the students learn? What did it cost? What did the TAs do? What topics were taught? A whole lot of things. And as you can tell, this is a pretty radical departure from the way things are normally done, and that brings with it a lot of concerns for the administration. From my position, I can't even really see everything that they're worried about, and so, I don't like where they ended up with this, but at the same time, it's not really fair for me to judge or anything, just because I only see the part that I can see from my perspective, and running an organization as complex as an entire college must be a pretty big... Yeah, running a college must be a really big undertaking. But anyways, long story short, over the past few weeks, what I've been doing is trying to politely disagree with them and the decision to take the class in a completely different direction, disband the TA team, and even revamp the topics to a completely different set of learning outcomes than what we'd come up with. Like I said, administratively, I can't see the whole picture, and that's okay. But I fought really hard because I feel responsible not just to the students, but also to the TAs, and I wanted to, really take care of everybody. And I think we'd created something really great, and I wanted to protect that. And so anyways, once the decision was completely final, which was last week, that's when I started having to figure out how I was going to let this group of TAs, this community that we'd formed, how I was going to let them know. They're undergrad TAs, which means the second that the semester ended, we scattered. People are in many states and several countries, different time zones. There's no way to call a meeting. There's no way to get 44 people in a room together, or even one-on-one go through all 44 and update them. And so I think one of the really hard parts about this whole process was I didn't come up with anything better than sending an email. And so I wrote a really good email in my mind, but at the same time I felt like I was breaking up with somebody over text. I hated doing it. I hated doing it. And I really, this is the part that I'm just still processing, is I'm really kind of heartbroken that I'm not working with these people directly anymore, or at least not on that project. I hate that they might feel that they didn't do a good job when they did, or, that now there's something missing. And that's just really, that's hard for me, It's a big responsibility that I feel, having built something that large, and when it doesn't pan out the way you think it will, it comes with big consequences, right? 44 lives are affected here, at the least. So that's what's been going on lately. I will continue to unravel the story of the class that's more than one day's worth of message here, and I've got other things I have to work on and start to heal and move on. But, right now, my number one priority is still to take care of my team. And so a lot of them have responded, of course, with extreme class and support, just variations on thanks for the opportunity, we did a really cool thing, disappointed, but we all knew it was an experiment, and that's okay. Just so many kind words and awesome things. And so what I want to do right now is spend some time over the next, however long it takes, to just make sure that this TA team is really well supported, and then as well as kind of tell you the story behind the class. What did we teach? What did we do? That'll all come out too, but not all just in one day. By the way, I'm just so incredibly impressed by these people, the TAs. I mean, they did such a stellar job. Someday, this story is going to be told in my TED Talk. And when it is, I'm going to have all their names running like a credit reel in the background. Yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to. Lunchtime, and I'm going to get me some food truck food. Alright, here we go. Day 9 out of 12. Semester's almost over. I can't even believe it. Yay, fluids time. Almost no time left. The semester's almost over. You guys ready for the quiz? That joke just never gets old. Whew. Class was a whirlwind. Now I got 5 minutes to make a train. And they did something weird at the station. They've changed the end that I can go in or something. So now I gotta walk farther. Hope I make it. Yo, yo. Just want to let you know, Nicole and I will be live streaming tonight for the Intentional Academy. We are putting together final plans to get the podcast launched. If you've been waiting to hear about that, exciting progress has been made. And so we'll be live 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time, facebook.com/Intentional Academy, or me on Instagram at the Tony Ferrar. Come hang out with us. You learn something new every day. Didn't know I could put a link on a snap. For example, if you swipe up right now, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. While you're there, hit the subscribe button. I'm so happy this is still a thing. I know you were waiting with bated breath. The Amazon guy came through. The diapers made it in time. We are now well stocked. Yo! So Nicole and I just tinkered around with the Anchor app and recorded a podcast episode. It's really just test driving the features of the app and giving some ideas on what we would do for a show, and we would love your thoughts on it. So if you head over to anchor.fm/thetonyferrar, I'll hit a link here so you can just swipe up. There's an app, or you can just listen to it on the web, but if you install the app, it lets you interact with the episode, and I'd really love to hear what you think of it. Anchor. Get it. Search for me, the Tony Ferrar. Thank you so much for checking it out. So it's not that the live show is going to go away. We're going to keep streaming it live, but it's going to be like it is today. So the people that are tuned in right now, what they're seeing is more behind the scenes. We record some audio for the podcast, but then we pause and we talk and we regroup and we make our plan. And hopefully what that does is it brings people in and makes them a part of the conversation and part of the creation of the show, but it also saves us from lots and lots of editing when we just want to package one little segment for the podcast and be done.
And is this the area where we would pull from people who've left voicemail questions?
We could pull from voicemail questions.
For the live show, I mean?
Yep. Okay. Yep. And we could also, if there's live questions coming in, of course we can just decide to record a segment right then on the spot for that live segment. And so it works both ways.
Yeah.
And then I can give you a signal like this when we want to end a segment. She's not ending it. Try again.